There is a fighter in each one of us. No matter how weak you sometimes feel, there is a fighter in you. I was just so inspired by Louis's life, and I really felt I knew why so many people love the book. Louis is this extraordinarily witty, charming, full of fire, imperfect man. Louis's story is an extraordinary story because Louis's story is all of our stories. He is somebody who shows through all of his sufferings and all of his failings how we can rise up. Louis always tried to be inspirational and help others, but he has always wanted to do it through a film. And he's waited 50 years, and now this is that moment, and I am so fortunate to be able to tell that story.
Look at that great family. Yeah, they were wonderful, except me.
Well, you turned out all right.
My youth was, I was rotten. I was a rotten kid, and I was inactive. Stand around, there's nothing to do, you get in trouble. I think I'd ended up in jail. I had a real professional criminal life. My excitement came from seeing what I could get away with. This is during Prohibition. So I got a milk bottle and I filled it full of white paint, turned it upside down, let it drain for a day, and it would fill the milk bottle full of liquor.
You want me to rhyme down, say my line?
If it feels right.
Okay.
Let's rehearse it up to that point.
Well, I got most of my running in as a child, running from the cops. And so then they started talking about what to do with me. And my brother said, well, we got to get him into some activities. And the chief said, well, we've been chasing him all over town for 3 or 4 years. I should just run him. And what a transition it was. It was just unbelievable. But I made up my mind, I'm going to give in. I'm going to go all out to be a runner. And so it wasn't long before I won my first race, and then I never lost another race for 5 years. Well, the Olympics, I was still just a high school graduate, and I thought the Olympics was too far out of my reach.
Louis, a moment of pain is worth a lifetime of glory. You remember that?
What I love so much about this story is that Louis didn't win at the Olympics.
Next up, the 5,000 meter.
It was the fact that he was in a category beyond what he should have been in. And he just pushed himself so hard, and he refused to fail.
So all the great runners were out in front, and I couldn't keep up the pace because I gained 14 pounds on the boat eating all that free food.
And Zamperini is fading too, dropping
But the last lap came, and I thought they were 50 yards ahead of me. And I remembered my brother telling me that. 1 minute of pain, so I took off, sprinted the whole last quarter. The entire stadium, everybody jumped to their feet.
Look at that Zamperini! This might be the fastest final lap in Olympic history.
That's one thing you learn in sports that's good for you, is you don't give up. And that's important in the war, too.
Get your cameras, boys. I'm gonna light it up like Christmas.
Everybody brace!
During the crash, I was thrown under the tripod. and I couldn't budge. It was dark, I couldn't see anything, and then I ran out of air. After I passed out, supposedly dead, my eyes opened. And I was completely freed from the tripod, which is, it's hard to believe, but I'm free and I know it. That was a real God-given miracle. I don't know how anybody lived through it. You're out in the middle of the largest ocean in the world, and there's no food. I think everybody made the same prayer. God, I'll seek you and I'll serve you if you get me home alive to my family.
Remember that story about Eddie Rickenbacker? They were drifting in rafts for 24 days. We beat Rickenbacker's record 4 days ago.
And every day we all look at each other and think, how did they really survive this?
After spending 47 days on a raft, they put me in this dungeon. They called it Quadrant. Well, we knew what that was. That was Execution Island. And you're going to be decapitated? Oh, God. It's hard to live with that thought in your mind. But finally, some officer who followed the Olympics and sports said rather than execution, I'd be better to send them to Japan to do radio propaganda. And that's where I met the bird. And my torments began all over.
Who is the Olympic athlete?
The bird, he was given orders to make my life miserable.
You are like me. We are both strong. I saw it in your eyes the first day. I thought, this man will be my friend. But enemy of Japan.
The camp was by far the worst because you're a victim and they can do what they want.
This man must be taught respect. All other prisoners will teach him this lesson. Each prisoner will punch this man in his face.
We cannot do that.
Don't do it, sir. Come on. Just get over it. Punch him! Hit hard! Come on! Hit me! Next!
People have asked me, what is this story about? And his story is so big because he lived so many lives. But he faced every challenge. And what Louis did was he endured. And when he was knocked down, he got back up. And we've all been in that moment where we've just wanted to give up. And Louis felt that too. But he fought back and refused to be taken down. And this sweet little punk immigrant kid who didn't think very much of himself and felt he was going to amount to less than nothing, became an inspiration to the world. Casting Louis was such a very, very difficult task, such an exciting thing. He had to be this person that you felt that the audience would root for. Somebody that does have a very strong spirit, and somebody who's soulful enough to love and respect Louis, to understand the growth and the faith of the man.
I just feel completely honored by the fact that I'd be able to immortalize a life story of someone who's arguably lived 3 or 4 lifetimes. It was very interesting unraveling what it was about Louis that gave him that level of endurance and how that backed him up in a prisoner of war environment. So I really wanted to know what fueled him. I settled with the opinion that he's not the most important person in his thinking.
He's gonna have his answer. And then when you want, I think Watanabe was sick, but he was very, very well educated. He was very intelligent. And he's described in the book as a beautifully crafted monster. And so you have to cast somebody that actually is quite the opposite of that, somebody who's a great person. Because it's not somebody that's going to enjoy being a villain. It's somebody that really doesn't want to be a villain, that will find the deeper side of what that means.
Watanabe is such a complex character. He's so brutal. I think he was going insane. But he also had appreciation toward Louis. He thought Louis was a friend, but he was also afraid. He was also suffering in those moments. He was kind of trying to hide his weakness. So that's why I wanted to try to put humanity into the character.
So Louis has been a part of the script, and he's been a part of the casting, and he's been a part of everything along the way. That's you, right?
Yes.
Louis joked with me. He said, I've been praying. Did you get your locations? I said, "Hey, we got our locations. Thanks for that." And then last night with the cyclone approaching, I thought, come on, Louis, you gotta pray we get some sun. Pray we get some sun. And now he's laughing at me. Now we get some rain. And we got sun all day until we finish shooting. And now it's raining.
Let it just wash over you. I mean, it's important that it just feels real.
It is such a big adventure. We're kind of retracing these extraordinary footprints. And so the journey we're on, from the visual effects to the scale and the size of the sets, to the rigs and the stunts and the raft work and the water work, somehow Louis' story brings people together to push themselves to be their best. And we go against difficult days, and you feel like that's what you got to do for Louis.
To persevere, I think, is important for everybody. Don't give up. Don't give in. There's always an answer to everything.